Welcome back, y'all, and happy Monday. Our baseball team lost. The season's over, but I think that it was a very good season. You have to keep in mind, y'all, it is so hard to be able to sustain excellence, but we are pretty much doing it, right? Still making it to the super regionals. And next year, we have another opportunity with a team that would have some players that, maybe got to play more with Tony V. I think that that's big. Of course, you always go to the transfer portal, and we're going to add some players and things like that. But hopefully, this will be a situation where, the team has a bad taste in their mouth moving forward. And they'll be able to lock in whenever it counts next year. So that's what I'm looking forward to. But again, great season. Still proud of the whole team, everybody, coaches, players, all that good stuff. But it is now football season. Okay, we still got track and all that going on, but this is really it's football time now. So let's talk about the June 13th OVs. Going to be several players coming up, and I feel really good about where Tennessee sits at for several of these guys. And obviously we got some headliners. We got some big time names like Tristen Keys finally making it up to campus, and he is committed to LSU, but I think that we have a pretty good chance to flip him. So we're going to be covering all that today. As always, y'all do us a very big favor. Make sure to like and subscribe to the channel. It'll cost you nothing, but it means everything to us. Let's go ahead and get started. I want to kick it off right here with this list. And I got a lot of this from, 24/7 Sports mostly. I think that they have a better updated list of the OVs. I got some stuff from On3 too. It's going to be kind of like overlap. Either way, I went in, did some research. I took a couple of names off, and this is what we're left with. It's 19 players, and this could change too. I don't know for every single one of these players if they're all coming up or if there's going to be some different names on this list. But either way, there's a couple of players that I do want to point out. And let me get this thing back up. All right, so there's a couple of players that I do want to point out just really, really quickly. So Sam Utu, he's an offensive lineman listed as a tackle with 24/7 Sports, but I think he's going to be more of like a guard sort of a body. But he's from California. He's making this trip. I think Tennessee's probably in a pretty good spot with him, unless he wants to stay closer to home, which he might want to do. But I think that coming down to SEC country, he might like what he sees. So that's a big one. I think he's really, really good. Obviously, every single one of the players that say D line, we need all those guys because those are tackles. Tennessee needs to add some tackles to this class. So every single one of them going to be watching them very, very closely. Next, let's move on over to my key players. Okay, this is who I feel like Tennessee really needs to focus on. And we're going to start down at the bottom with Nick Henkins. He's listed as a cornerback. He has good size, 6 feet tall, 190 pounds, four-star guy. And right now it's us, Ole Miss, Illinois, and Mizzou. So he is actually from Illinois. I'm gonna go ahead and pull up his clip so that y'all can see how his game looks. But for me, the biggest thing with him is his coverage looks really good, but because he has good size, he can play safety. We know that we need to add some really good safeties. I think he'd be a hell of a safety. You see how physical he is? That's what I'm talking about. This is the type of athlete that I want us to bring in to play at safety because we need somebody that can help us as a true freshman, okay? Unless we're just going to live inside of the transfer portal. We got to start getting in guys that we can hold on to that can see the field early and, that will stick around with us. So he's one I would love if Tennessee, could end up in a good spot with him. As far as I can tell, for all the key players, I think that are all coming up. It's not a lot of updates with him on really any of those sites. Really, On3 is more of where I get those updates from. Nothing new, so I don't know. This could be a situation that maybe he doesn't come up, but I would think that we should be all hands on deck because not just playing at safety, but he could play at star. He could play a corner. I mean, he could really do anything. It's rare that you find players that can literally do anything because a lot of times you got guys that are going to be playing a corner. That's more like coverage skills, right? But they might not have the size, or they might not be physical enough to play at safety. Or you get some guys that maybe are a little bit undersized and they're physical, so you could put them at star. But to find a guy that has the size, I mean, already 190, he could get up to 215 easy. Maybe even bigger. He's got a lot of room to grow in his frame just based off of looking at his film. So yes, he's high on my board. Now let's go back, y'all. Let's take a look at this list. Let's go up to the next player. That's going to be Zion Gibson. You can see that he is currently committed to Alabama. So it would be us, Bama, obviously, and Ole Miss. That's another team that he's going to be visiting. But obviously, love his game as a just outside cornerback. I think that he has really good coverage skills. He has good size too. He has really good length, and he's physical. So guys like this is what you want to try to add. I mean, he's a hell of an athlete. I would say for really both of these guys, you might be able to put them on special teams too. So you're just adding a ton of depth if you can get these guys. This OV weekend is going to be really, really big. Can we flip them? I think that we need to flip them. We got to stop Alabama from taking in all these really good cornerbacks. They're loading up with their secondary cornerbacks. They're nickelback, their safeties. They have a bunch of studs. So this is a situation that he's going to help Tennessee by being on our team, but also is going to help us because we don't want to have to face him. You know what I'm saying? That's going to be one of my biggest things. Once we do break down that Alabama game, that video is going to be coming out here pretty soon. But once we break it down, I am going to focus on that. They've got a really good secondary. Can our wide receivers, being really young, be able to beat those guys? And yeah, this is one that, and here you can see him on special teams. But yeah, this is a guy that I would love for Tennessee to be able to, move the needle with. It might come down to NIL. I know that Ole Miss typically they've done a good job with their NIL. I've heard that it might be having some issues, might be running out of funds, but revenue sharing is part of it now. Like we always talk about, that could always help some of these teams out. Tennessee is in it for some very high caliber players. So I don't know. Will we have enough funds to bring in a guy like this that I think is really good? That's he's highly rated, but he wouldn't be as highly rated as some of the other players that I think Tennessee could close on. So that's going to be Zion, and we'll see how that whole thing goes. Next, let's talk about Darien Albert. This is a huge, huge need for me. Okay, he's from Mississippi. You can see that's Arkansas and Mississippi State. Looks like that's our biggest competition, but he has good size. He's already over 300 pounds, 4-star guy. We need tackles that can help us early. Same thing with safety, same thing with wide receivers. Cornerback, you can maybe say the exact same thing. We're about to lose, three of our top guys inside of that room. It's going to be a whole lot of youth on this team next season. So maybe I could even, make the argument that at every spot, we pretty much need people, especially with our defense, that can help us in year one. But yes, I love his burst. I think he moves really, really well. He's strong. Um, he's a guy that you could play at probably any of the tackles, but for me, I'm looking at him to be more of like a nose tackle. You know what I'm saying? Like more of those, one of those space eaters. Tennessee doesn't really have that. We've got Charles House, who would be, I would say, like the only person on this team this year that could fit into that role. But last year, we had guys like Big E and Big O who could do it. So you want to have multiple guys. Like really, I think that in a perfect world, you have three guys that are over about 325 pounds that can move, that are twitchy, that are dogs, that can keep each other fresh because we want to stop the run first. To stop the run first, you need those big old space eaters that can also maybe get after the pass or something. That's something else that I'm noticing with this game is that he can, he shows that twitch. He can get to the passer. So just pretty much to me, he would probably be the number one tackle. I think on Tennessee's big board at this point because he's the best one that I've looked at up to this point. But like I also pointed out, all the other guys that we have listed coming up, for their OV this weekend, you want to try to land them all. I think I mean, not all of them, but you want to try to get, I would say, two of them. I think we need at least two tackles in this class. So let's take it on back. Let's take it on back and let's talk about Tristan Gibbons. We've talked a lot about him. To me, he's the best Leo that Tennessee's targeting. He's number one on my big board as far as Leos go. He can do everything. And right now, it's going to be us, Florida State, and Texas A&M. And I think that he's already visited both of those programs, if I'm not mistaken. But we're going to go ahead and pull up his clips here. We've looked at it several times, but I do want to point out what I love about him. Here, you're seeing him playing on offense. Really, really good athlete. And I don't think that he's going to be playing offense for us, but this is just showing how versatile he actually is. He moves very well. He's got pass rush moves. Like I always say, it's hard to find the guys that have any sort of semblance of pass rush moves on this level. And if they've got some, then you already know it's just going to get even better as they get older, as they get more used to their body, as they add some strength, things like that. But for me, it's about his speed. It's about him being able to move out in space. I think that he could play coverage. I think that he could maybe even play some stand-up linebacker for you. You know what I mean? In certain situations. That's what you're looking for whenever you're talking about a Leo, right? It's not just about rushing the passer, which is going to be number one, but you got to be able to play out in space. I think that Coach Banks wants to use these guys in space a lot more. We haven't really had the guys that were great with it. This year, we're going to have it. I think Jordan Ross is going to be really good at that. So, we're starting to bring in more and more players, freshmen that we have on this team. I think that they would look good doing it too. But you got to keep on adding to it. It just makes our defense so much more daily because of the versatility. Where hey, guys, they might look like they're dropping back into coverage, but they're going to rush. Or they might look like they're going to be rushing, but they're going to drop into coverage and they can play man to man. They can cover a running back coming out of the backfield. We saw Joshua Joseph doing that on some of the more recent film clips. But yeah, Tristan Gibbons, hopefully we can move the needle. And I would love to just get him off the daggone board. I don't even want to, waste any time. But yeah, he's super good. I think he's actually underrated. People don't talk enough about Tristan Gibbons. Now let's go on to the next player, and that's going to be TJ White. So he's a linebacker listed at about 6'2", 225 pounds. It's us, Florida State, Auburn, and Mississippi State. So you're saying Mississippi State is, they're in it. They're doing some things. People want to go play there. I think that they're doing a good job as far as coaching. You might not see that from, what they've done on the field, but it's just because they didn't have that much talent. And linebacker is a spot that I could tell you, TJ White, he could go there and probably start from day one. Could he do it inside a Tennessee system? Probably not. So yeah, and you're seeing here linebacker slash edge. That's the other thing. He can come off of the edge. So loving that versatility. He could play Leo for us. I don't know exactly what they want him to play. Typically for us, Leos are going to be taller, longer, but I really like him as a, Mike, as a Will, something like that. But yeah, pretty much same thing. Love his first step. Love how physical he is. I love that. It's going to be tough to juke him. I think that he's a guy that in coverage, once he learns how to play coverage, I think that it might take him a year or two. But I really feel like he could be good in coverage. The linebackers have got to be good in coverage these days. You got to be able to spot quarterbacks too. ACC this year might be the deepest year for quarterbacks that are ballers that we've ever seen in any conference ever, right? Like there's just a ton of them. I think that there's a whole bunch of NFL guys. So I think that trend is going to keep on happening. And you got to have the linebackers that can kind of mirror what those quarterbacks do. So I'm looking at this guy, TJ White is a player that I would love for us to, be able to, I would say coming out of this OV, if Tennessee could be in its top three, we have a chance to maybe be able to close on them. Again, NIL is going to be big. We're really getting down to that spot now, y'all, where the kids are looking at everything. The money part is going to mean a lot more at this point in the game because it is getting down to the end. I think he said he wants to choose his school on like early next month. I think all these guys, that's about where they're at. So we'll see what happens with TJ White, but I think that we're in a pretty good spot. Like last time that he came up, it sounded like Tennessee was in his top three. So we'll see what happens there. Obviously, we still have some other linebackers that we want to bring into this class. I don't know if it's a situation where we can only bring in maybe two guys. We already have one, maybe one more we could add to this class. But I would say if you can get, three guys, why not just bring in three? Because we have more roster room now, right? So let's come on back and let's talk about the first wide receiver, and that's going to be Craig Dandridge, and he is from Georgia and listed at 6'1", 172 pounds. It's us, I think, in UGA. He really likes Georgia, but also Georgia Tech. You got to watch them. They're doing a great job with their wide receivers, and to me, it's not a team that you just count out. So I think that he's going to be visiting them, or he already visited them last weekend. Didn't really see a whole lot of articles or anything like that with that visit, so not really sure how it went. Like I said, probably us in Georgia, but and you know what? Excuse me. This is actually that wasn't him. This is him right here. My bad, y'all. So either way, you're gonna see that he has good speed. Okay, really, really good speed. He has great burst. He's an inside outside guy. We talk a lot about that. You want the guys that are versatile. It adds depth. You're seeing that straight line speed here in the state of Georgia. If you can run away from folks, here you can do it anywhere, right? That's just what it is. So here, I think that he runs good routes too. He has on that one, it looked like he kind of like double clutched on that pass, but he does catch the ball pretty effortlessly. Looks a lot like how the NFL wide receivers look now, like watching how the players look in the NFL combine and at their pro days and all that good stuff. Very, very similar. Like you're seeing more players that are about this size from 6 feet to about 6'2", maybe 6'3", but it's more about getting in and out of breaks. It's more about being really smooth with your routes and things like that. I'm seeing that from him. Obviously, having good hands now. That right there, that burst, you could take a quick screen to the house. He actually, to me, on that clip, that's about how I see Dotson. Dotson for us as a freshman, expect him to score some touchdowns. Okay, expect him to take that top off and to be able to get that separation in and out of his breaks, things like that. But either way, would love if Tennessee could maybe close that gap up some. I don't know how many wide receivers Tennessee wants to add, but he would be one that if we can't get this final guy, this next guy, I would absolutely love to bring him onto this class. And last but certainly not least, let's talk about Tristen Keys coming up finally for this OV. I feel great about it. I told y'all last time that we talked about him. I don't think he's going to stick with LSU, so he's going to take several visits. Right now, it feels like it's us and the U, who listen, they just paid an offensive tackle, I think like $2 million annually. So I'm thinking for a wide receiver like Tristen Keys, that might be in that same ballpark, 2 million plus. That's a lot of money. That's Nico money. Will Tennessee try to pay that to Tristen Keys? I think that that's what we're talking about here. But so them Alabama, you got to watch Alabama with these players from Mississippi. Seems like they always end up landing them, whenever it's all said and done. Auburn, I think he already visited Auburn, and I didn't hear a whole lot coming out of that visit. His mom does a lot of talking coming out of these OVs, and sounds like Auburn is a school that they like. Actually, Tristan talked with after this visit, and he said that he likes that they do a good job with their wide receivers. He likes the wide receiver coach and all that good stuff. And then of course it's Texas A&M, and his mom spoke a lot about them. And well, really not even like she didn't say a lot. Like she was like, yeah, Tristan really liked this visit. Everything was really nice and all that. So I don't know, man. I don't know if they're really, really up there. I feel like it's us and the U, and I guess Alabama and still LSU. But like I said, I would put LSU maybe at third. I think that it's probably Miami number one, us number two. So it's going to be about money, right? It's going to be about how does he fit into our system? How quickly can he play? Those are the types of things that he's looking at. He also talked a lot about why he chose LSU was that, man, like they've done such a good job with these wide receivers. There, so many pro players come out of LSU. He also talked about looking at how the players' lives are even after sports, where a lot of it was about NIL, but also these players at LSU sets them up right. Tennessee's going to be on par with that. I don't know about some of these other programs. I don't know if they're going to be on that same level, but Tennessee will take care of you forever. If you come here, give your all, we'll take care of you. So yeah, obviously, man, we talk so much about Tristen Keys. He's a stud. I mean, he's just a freaking stud. We saw that in that Polynesian Bowl, being an underclassman playing in that game. Who was it? I think that it was GMAC. He wants to throw the football to him early and often just to let him know, hey, we want you here. And I felt like there was a little bit of a vibe there, but at the same time, he's really close with Faison Brandon. Like I think that they're like really really close, so that should be able to help us out. But we might have to go to social media, y'all, and do everything that we possibly can just to let him feel the love and let him know that we really really want him. You know what I'm saying? And if he doesn't choose us, you don't want to be bashing him and stuff, right? Just because the players won't always choose us. This is a business decision. But yeah, if we could add him to this class, him, Darius Gray sounds like that's a very realistic possibility. And some of the other guys that we've talked about, this class has a chance to maybe get to the top five. It really does. And whether it's top five or not with those sites, for me, we are in a spot where, I think that this class is going to be really, really special. So we just have to hold on to these guys and we have to close, for sure over these next, I would say, few weeks, several weeks. But that's going to be it for this show. I would love to hear y'all's thoughts down in the comment section. And as always, y'all do us a very big favor. Make sure to like and subscribe to the channel. We'll see you on the next one. Thanks. Peace. Thanks for watching. And please make sure to like and subscribe to the channel because that keeps us growing inside of the YouTube algorithm. And if you did like this video, here's another one that you might also enjoy. Thank you, thank you, thank you. We'll see you on the next one. Peace.